Speaking of squatters, House Bill 621 authorizes property owners to request action by the sheriff's office to immediately remove squatters from your home. The bill passed overwhelmingly in the Florida Senate last week. The sheriff is required to serve the notice and remove unwanted occupants without delay, revoking squatters' rights. I didn't know squatters had rights, actually. I didn't know why was this not already a thing? And yet now it is, so I guess that's better. Well, the Second Amendment did that as long as you buried the body, asks Bright. Not necessarily advisable. Squatters have rights and some actually makes sense, as Bootsack. If someone owns, like if it's a derelict building, then I can see squatters having some sort of rights there. Still, I don't think that's the right way to handle it, but maybe as a cope, could see that being the case. But still, like beyond obviously the normal rights they should have, if someone else owns the building, then no, you shouldn't be allowed to just sit in it. Squatters' rights exist in the UK too, admittedly not nearly as much as they do in some blue states. Talking years of uncontested habitation in the UK's case. I see. Right, so if you've been living somewhere without anyone contesting it for a long time, then you end up owning the place. I'm not sure that's right either. The only thing there is, I think that if a property is completely derelict and a person has moved in there knowing that no one else owns it and has actually done work to improve the place and make it livable, sure, then they become the owner. I could see that. If there's no one else who even would contest it, who has some right to contest it. But if there's anyone who can show some evidence that they own it, no, it is theirs. Who says that's literally how squatters' rights is supposed to work. Okay, that I could see. But this Florida bill appears to be giving additional powers to the people that do actually own the building. Property owners. So yeah, that makes sense. The New York thing we just saw, I expect that it's like that, but supercharged in favor of the squatter, assuming that was a squatter. Well, that's 10 years in the UK. So you have to have uncontested residence there for 10 years. See, I could see that as a valid thing. Whereas I, for one, I'm all for the state defending Americans living in or on property owned by foreigners, especially the Chinese. Sure, but the solution to that is not to let the Chinese buy it in the first place. I wonder, like, when it comes to the free market, obviously the government not intervening is by default the correct answer. When it comes to international relations, when it comes to international subterfuge, no, I think the government should intervene. If a foreign nation or a foreign national owns a building and your policy is now that they're not allowed to do that, which I think it should be in almost all cases, then no, intervene in the market. Say that's not your property anymore. Go away. They're not citizens. I suppose some of the owners could be citizens who are essentially representing the foreign power. Then again, the idea of people owning buildings that they are not going to use, owning residential buildings which are not going to house tenants, is kind of distasteful already. I don't think I necessarily want the government to say you're not allowed to do that. But I don't think it's good if that happens too often, and it certainly has happened a lot. Cops used to get out of work by claiming it's a civil matter between owner and tenant. Yeah. So yeah, there's our squatters stories for the day.